So, how has the field of education changed since you started, Barry?
So I think that it's changed a lot, and I think it's still changing. Lots of folks involved in education and public policy, I think, are talking about how to ensure that all kids are achieving at high levels in all communities. And we're still not sure how that's going to be done, but I think that we're rethinking the way things have been done. So I've seen at a very local level, instructional methods changing. So when I first came in and when I was young, example, the teacher spending most of the time at the chalkboard talking, it's students in rows, and it was important to listen to the teacher the whole time. They imparted knowledge on the students, on you. And now I see a classroom where student interaction is cultivated, where teachers are sort of coaches or facilitators, and there's much more personalization, especially with the introduction of a lot of new technology.
So, here's a question that I have that might be kind of a hot question, Barry. So, assessments in the standardized form. That's definitely something that has changed a lot since I think you and I both started teaching. And what's your take on that as far as benefits and also disadvantages?
Sure, and with NCLB, which I left behind, that was a big part of it, and especially for schools that received a lot of federal money. So I think that the pendulum now is kind of swinging the other way in some places, and people are calling for limits to be placed on the time spent on standardized, the high stakes testing. Mm-hmm. And teachers are saying too that they want tools that are going to be useful to them in a timely manner, as opposed to those state tests that don't come back till the next year when you no longer have those students. Sure. So I think that's a good trend. I think that the more we can focus on how to support teachers in being able to collect, analyze, and then use data now is really what matters.
Right. Right. Great. Thank you, Barry. So what is important for teachers today to understand about their students?
I think that today, because of this technological revolution, it's changed the way in which anybody can access information. Before, when I was young, I remember I felt fortunate to have a set of Funk and Wagnall's encyclopedias. And I was able to, if I learned about something like, Beijing, okay, let me go look it up and learn about, a blurb about Beijing. And I even remember, then we had Encarta on CD-ROM, and that was like a big deal. And I remember, though, thinking about, it's much different now. Kids walk around with a device that they can look things up and learn. And that information is always changing. It's being updated. It's live. And whereas, the page in the encyclopedia isn't, I have to wait to update that. So access to information has changed, and that's also made us have high standards as consumers of information. So we have a need for sort of instant gratification with that. So with those two things at play, I think teachers need to know that the teaching and learning that happens in their classroom has to be relevant, or kids are going to check out. And the opposite of that is true, is that when they are engaged and involved, they're into it. They're going to learn. They're going to participate.
So I think that that's really great advice for both the teaching and learning that is going on in classrooms today. So what's one tip that you would give to teachers, Barry?
Try anything twice. And I would say the try anything has to do with, as a new teacher, a novice teacher, I struggled, for example. I saw a lot of the barriers that were in my way to getting what I wanted. So if I wanted to teach something, I can't do that because I don't have this, or I can't do that because my kids, aren't ready for that, or I can't do this because we don't. It's easy to identify those because they may be what's visible. So the try anything has to do with the fact that I can try anything in my classroom. I can do it now. There's no limits. And then the twice is, I grant myself, and every teacher should grant themselves the right to not do it right the first time, you know, to fail at it. And that doesn't mean that that strategy, that technique, that lesson, that book is not worthy. It just means that you need another try.